Let's talk about some exciting cards from Double Masters 2022. So first up is Bloom Tender for 1 and a green. This is a card I've always wanted, but it's an elf druid, and it's a 1/1 that we can tap each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color, so 5 color decks love this card, and hopefully this will bring the price down a little bit. Right now the lowest price I see is from Mystery Booster, and that's $24.76. And the card that everyone's really been excited for is Dockside Extortionist. This is the second printing of it since 2019, and when it enters the battlefield, you create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Already it's priced at $44.99, which is a great price reduction from what it was. I think it was around $60 before they spoiled this, but still this is really good to see. Not a real popular one, but if you love to copy creatures, this is a great one. It's Dax Duplicate for 2 blue and a red, a 0/0 shapeshifter. When it enters the battlefield, you copy any creature on the battlefield, except now it has haste and it has dethrone, so whenever it attacks the player with the most life, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it, and that's going to be good because it already has haste, so we're going to make that creature a little bit bigger. Hostage Taker. This isn't a popular one because it got reprinted, I think, a year ago in Forgotten Realms. 47 cents then, so it might become a 25-cent card at a rare, but when it enters the battlefield, we'll exile a creature or artifact until this leaves the battlefield, and we can actually cast that card as long as it remains exiled. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. So we can take not only ours, but most importantly, our opponent's stuff, for example, their Soul Ring, and make it ours. Mystics of the Ace Magnus. This is a great one for spellcasters that love instants and sorceries, so whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell greater than the mana value of experience counters you have, you get an experience counter. Instants and sorcery spells cost 1 less for each experience counter you have. This is a very powerful card, awesome commander, because even if you cast things that let you proliferate, you actually can target your experience counters, and that's going to be another way for us to make our instants and sorceries cost an additional 1 less. Consecrated Sphinx. If you love to draw cards and your opponents happen to draw a lot of cards, this is going to be great for you, and it's also really important that it says you may draw 2 cards when an opponent draws a card, so that way they can't manipulate it where they are in control of what we are drawing. So maybe we only want to draw 6 cards whenever we could potentially draw 10. We have control over what's going on. Dragon Lord Dromoka. Powerful dragon because this spell cannot be countered. It has flying, lifelink. It's a 5/7, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn, and cards that let you do that type of effect are not cheap. Sensei's Divining Top. This is a great one, very powerful in a lot of formats. I remember purchasing one when it was like $10 because it just got banned in Modern or whatever format, and I sold it around 8 months ago, and it was probably going for 40 or 50, which you can tell in the prices on the right, but an estimated price right now is $34.99 with the latest reprint, so hopefully that will continue to drive it down. Phyrexian Altar. So whenever we sacrifice a creature, we can add 1 mana of any color. This is a very powerful sack outlet because, as you can see, it's $100 from Invasion, $50 from Ultimate Masters, and hopefully maybe $30 from this set reprint. I'm not sure how low it will go, but over time you see this card just going right back up to the same price. Very powerful card. Dalkin Orrery, another card I sold 8 months ago when it was worth $40 or so. It's been going down a little bit, and right now they estimate it to be $19, which is a lot better than the $40, because this allows you to cast spells as though they had flash, so now you can cast your creatures on your opponent's turn, or in response to something, sorceries, artifacts, enchantments, anything that's not an instant. I was surprised to see Thumming Stone, so this is for those cards in your deck that let you have multiples, so Shadowborn Apostles, Rats, the cards that let you mill, etc. So spells you cast have Ripple 4. Whenever you cast a spell, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library, and you can cast those spells that have the same name without paying their mana costs, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. So if you have 30% of your deck dedicated to this one card, it's very likely you're going to get more of them, and cast them for free. Hardened Scale. So this is great for +1/+1 counter decks, and they have it estimated at $8 right now. So whenever we would put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, we can do that many +1 put on it instead. And we also have Bitter Blossom. This is another great one. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life, and you create a 1/1 black fairy creature with flying. The lowest price right now I see is from Modern Masters 2015, and that is $41.10. This is an expensive card, and hopefully we can see a great price drop from this. Phyrexian Tyranny. I actually have one of these in my collection. I don't remember it being worth this much, like $3 to $4, but whenever a player draws a card, that player loses 2 life unless they pay 2 mana. So if you're into the taxing part of the game, this might be a card for you, especially if you're playing in red, black, and blue. This is just another one of those, hey, you're going to take the 2, right, because you'd rather spend spend your 2 mana on whatever? Most likely yes. Divine Visitation, this is great for token decks, so if you create one or more creature tokens under your control, you actually create 4/4 White Angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance instead. So if you're just making a bunch of 1/1s, this can be a very powerful enchantment for you. Path to Exile, so this is a great removal spell for white. Will exile a creature and its controller gets a basic land onto the battlefield tapped. I like this better than Swords to Plowshares because they actually gain life dependent on the creature's power. This is going to be whatever the creature is. Here, take a basic land, and if they don't play any basics or they don't have any more to search for, they get nothing. Chaos Warp, so this is a great commander staple, and also the last reprint for this was very recent. It's actually the previous set, and it was going for 83 cents, so maybe this will go for 50 cents. I know it says it's for $13 right now, but maybe the not so special printing will be way less. Teferi's Protection. So this is a $30 card, as you can see right there. It's also a very powerful one. You can have you and all of your permanents phase out, so you're still in the game, but you're treated as you do not exist, so this can protect you from a lot of things. Green Sun Zenith. So if you love huge creatures, or if you need more tutors in your green decks, this is going to be a great one for you. If you're creature oriented, you can just grab something from your library and put it onto the battlefield, and this goes back into your library, so there is a potential you can cast it later in the game. Imperial Seal. So this might be the money card of the set. The original printing says it's $1,700, and then there's a Judge card for $700. They estimate this to be $300. I'm thinking it's going to go down to $70 to $100, and it's probably going to stay there. I'm pretty sure Vampiric Tutor is still a $50 card after the reprints from Commander Legends, but tutors tend to be more pricey in Magic the Gathering. I'm excited for this card. It's Damnation, so this is a board wipe for black. We destroy all creatures and they can't be regenerated. I sadly do not own a copy, but hopefully this will bring down the price, maybe $10. I know that's pushing it, but it would be really cool. Supreme Verdict, so this is another board wipe, but this cannot be countered, and so I'm thinking this is going to bring the price down to $5 to $6. That's what it usually is at, and that's the last time I actually checked on it, so I'm surprised to see it's at $10. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see some budget deck text, check out this playlist right here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.